Fantastic. Here we go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our live trading day 3. With me here in the studio is my head coach, Mark Hodge. Mark, what's going on?
I'm ready for the markets.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll see if the markets are ready for us because it looks like a very, um, yeah, very muted opening here. I mean, the E-mini S&P pointing to a slightly higher open with 4 points, next to nothing. The Nasdaq, up 27 points. The Dow, yeah, just diddling along. Not a whole lot going on here yet.
Yeah, a quiet start. Futures pointing slightly higher, like you said, and we'll see if once things get going, if there's a little more activity. But we could see if there's PowerX trades and maybe a wheel or two. Although wheels are usually easier to trade when the markets are down a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe there's a few stocks that are popping up today. Okay, so we will get started, and this is our usual morning routine that we do. The markets open in 15 minutes, and that's usually when we are in front of our computers, starting to go through our trades. And first, we are looking here at PowerX Optimizer, and we're looking at the PowerX strategy. So the PowerX Optimizer is the tool that we are using, and we have two separate strategies here. We have the oops. Let's go there really quick. So we have the PowerX strategy, and then we have the wheel strategy. So usually from 8:15 Central Time, this is what it is right now, to 8:30, we are looking here for the PowerX analyzer, and then at 8:30 we switch over to the wheel strategy. By the way, if you would like to follow along, so just this week, we have the PowerX Optimizer. We have a trial of this for the next 10 days for $1. And we have to shut this down today. So today is October 27th. If you haven't taken advantage of this just yet, and if you want to take advantage, just go to the link at the bottom. The reason why we have to shut it down today is because many of you took advantage of this offer, and we want to make sure that we can help you and support you as you're discovering the software. So if you haven't had a chance to download the trial yet, and if you want to do this, rockwelltrading.com/10, that's where you can do it. All right. So here's what we do. We are just, for the PowerX strategy, running the scanner every morning. And this is where we have our criteria that are here. If you are wondering what our criteria are, you can always click on Reset to Default, and this will get you to our criteria. We're running it for the quick trades for the 1.5 risk and reward, and see what stocks are coming up today when we run it. And so out of the 12,000 stocks that we are scanning, there's always around 2 to 8 that are coming up. And today we have a selection of 5 stocks. And it's BGFV, CDEV, CELH, Gush, and SM. Now, Gush, we already looked at this on Monday, didn't we? Or yesterday? So we already flagged it as no. So that's good. So this morning, our job is pretty easy. We only have to look at 3 stocks, because if we said no on Monday, there's probably nothing that happened between Monday and today in 2 days that where we say, yeah, today we should be trading Gush. Now, in order to evaluate the stocks, we are looking for 4 criteria. The first criteria is that we are looking for a smooth P&L chart. And what does this mean? So the P&L chart means what would have had happened to your account if you had traded this stock, BGFV, over the past 2 years, according to the rules of the PowerX strategy. And so this is our first evaluation criteria. The second is that we look for trendability. So we want to see that a stock has nice trends, that it is not erratic. And we talked about Tilray the other day when it came up on the scanner and said, no, that's way too erratic here for us. The third is gappiness. So we want to make sure that there's no major gaps. A little gap every now and then is okay, but we want to see that it's not gapping all over the place. And number 5, we want to make sure that it has been trading above the $5 line, because the $5 is a magic mark where often when a stock dips below $5 and stays below $5, gets delisted. It's no longer on the radar of hedge funds, and traders are getting less interested. And this is usually when volume dries out. So with these three criteria or four criteria, Mark, what do you think about the P&L chart of BGFV?
To me, this is close, Marcus. We had a really nice increase, and it was increasing just like I like to see until February of this year, and then it kind of started to flatline. So didn't really make a whole lot of progress for the 7 months that followed there. So it's really close, and what I normally do in the morning is I quickly run through the list. So we're spending a little more time on each symbol just so we could go through and help explain our thought process. But what I normally do is go through it super quickly, kick out any that are obvious no's, keep the ones that are maybes to take a closer look at. This one for me, it would be a maybe. I'd keep it to do another look at it, but taking a deeper dive on this one, maybe B plus, A minus, maybe. But that last stretch there, it looks like it got a little choppy, and the P&L graph is telling us that.
Yeah, and this is where we can see this one here is where we say it's not good. Oops, right? So this is where was rather flat. Then here, before this time, we were trading below $5. Also not good. So the only time that we really like it is this time in the middle. And that's definitely not enough. So here it was good. And then here, no and no. And this is why I would say overall, no thanks. Especially since we are in three trades right now. So we'll be fine. Okay, CDEV. Let's take a look at this one. That's a fairly easy one. I mean, if you're looking at the P&L chart, we don't have to look at anything else. This looks really ugly. We are below $5 here for most of the time. We are below $5 here, below $5 here. So this is almost an automatic no that we can say here. So no thanks to this one. Okay, now CLH. Let's take a look at CLH. What do we think about this one?
I like this one. For me, this is the type of P&L graph that I like to look at, that P&L chart where you have steady profits. So yes, there's wins, there's going to be losses, but you see that the P&L graph is steadily moving higher. No real, gappy issues, and trendability looks good.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So trendability looks good. We were below $5 here for a little bit, but then for most of the time we were trading well above $5, and this is when the P&L chart really moved in nicely. We see that there's a one gap that we see here and a small gap here. But again, we are more concerned about a stock that is gapping all the time. Let me give you an example here. So INTC, Intel, this for us is a stock that is gappy, right? I mean, you see gap here, huge 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 gap here, right? I mean, this is, if you want to write it down, so INTC would be a poster child of really being gappy. And if you compare this here with CLH, I'm not too concerned about these two small little gaps. And yeah, we traded it a few weeks ago, and it was a really nice and profitable trade. So we took actually this trade here. So this
Yep.
was really nice. So for me, liked it a couple of weeks ago, still like it now. So we can flag this in green and place our order here. Now let's go to the last one, SM. What do you think about SM?
SM also catches my eye. P&L graph is decent, but spent a lot of time below the $5 mark. It really struggled there. So, generally speaking, we stay away from stocks that have a lot of history trading below $5, and we focus on stocks that are really, above that level. There's many reasons for that, but this would be one strike against it. And the P&L graph is okay. It kind of flattens out towards the end, though. So a combination of factors has me putting this one on the sideline. My favorite of the group today is CELH.
Yeah, I agree. So this one here for me also a no. And I mean, that is okay because right now we are still in three trades. We are in FTAY, LAC. Yesterday we exited NVIDIA with a big profit. So NVIDIA was a fantastic trade that we took. And then we have OPCH. So the other thing before we place a new order here, I just want to keep an eye on the clock. Yeah, we have 6 minutes before the open is. They want to make sure that the existing stocks that we have don't have a black bar, that they're still nicely going up, and they do. So we can take a look here at our entries and exits. So this is where with FTAH, uh, we actually entered at 25.87. As of yesterday, it was trading at 27.20. So this is good. No black bar here. LAC, another one. We entered this one at 25.80. So yesterday it closed at 27.46. And yeah, I mean, this is looking good, marching towards our profit target. And then, yeah, we talked about NVIDIA. I mean, NVIDIA was just golden. So we entered, we exited with both profit targets. And OPCH, the last one. So this is just diddling along here. So we entered around, what was it, 27.06 yesterday, slightly down. So we entered the option here. But I mean, none of them have black bars, and this is what we are looking for. All right, let's go to CELH. Let's take a look at this one. And for me, I like to keep it easy. I am using Tradier as my broker here. So all I need to do is place order, logging into the account. Let me just see. I thought that I can. There we go. Dum, da-dum, da-dum. Do this. Oh, I need to do the one-time password. Now, while I do this, I need to bring up my email, which I will do really quick. So I'm just showing our happy faces because there are some security things that really need to keep here behind the scenes. And I guess that is okay. So let's see the one-time password. I'm entering it here. Da, 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 da. Security is always important. And here I'm right back with you. Okay, so CLH, and you see that everything is pretty much pre-filled. The stock that we want to trade, we want to buy 50 shares with a stop of 103.71. And we'll see. So this morning, they are, it looks like they are trading below our entry price here. All right? So let's double check this here. We can quickly check
Yep,
it on. Um,
they're trading below.
Yeah, so it seems that they are opening lower, which is fine. We're still placing the order here, and I like to place it as a stop, a limit order, and here 103.70. I want to go for 103.85. So this is where I place the stop order if it is triggered, and then I give it 14 cents of possible slippage here to see that I can get into this trade. Okay, super easy. I hit preview. I hit submit. The order is now in the market. As you can see, markets are opening, what, in 1.5 minutes. Here's the open order. And here you see our other open positions. So right now on FTAI, we have $347. And this is based on a $20,000 account. So it's a rather small account. But some of you have asked me if I can also trade a smaller account. So here we go. I mean, NVIDIA, I believe, gave us a profit of $1,200 yesterday and over the past few days.
Yeah, nice little profit there. I traded more options, so it
Yeah.
was more than 1,200. But
All right.
yeah,
So anyhow,
and
it's
Marcus,
looking
I
good.
think it's important.
Yeah.
There was a question about CLH. Does it concern us that it has to go to a new high? And I just want to point out the last time we traded CELH, we traded options. They had almost a 300% return, and they went to a new high, right? So, looking at a stock, looking to have it break out when the indicators are telling us that there's a buy signal, if the P&L chart looks good, that's all I need in order to trade this stock. In fact, if every time you were afraid that it was going to not make new highs, you would have missed out on a very profitable stock. So that isn't a concern to me, but I do put my focus on what it did in the past, and we see that it has a tendency to break out. So I like this one.
Yeah.
I'm taking a look at options on this. The bid ask is pretty wide, but I want to see at the open what it looks like.
Yeah. And again, I mean, follow your plan. If your plan says that you do not want to trade stocks that need to make new all-time highs, that is fine. We are not concerned about it.
Sure.
We're showing you what we do. I mean, you feel free to adapt the plan to whatever you see fit, right? I mean, this is why we're doing it here. We're not saying, oh, you have to trade this way. We're showing you what we do. And if it helps you, great. Just take from this session here what is helpful for you and incorporate it into your trading plan. Same with the tool here. I mean, this is why we offer you a trial right now. Take a look at this and see if this could help you in your trading. If it does, great, then you might consider investing in the tool. If not, no hard feelings. I mean, no problem at all. If you choose to keep trading the way that you're trading, that is fine. As long as you're making money, that's the most important thing. Okay.
Absolutely. Well said.
All right. So markets are opening here right now. Okay. So we can see what is happening with CELH, and we see that CELH is opening at 99.80, so below our entry price. Now let's talk for a moment about this trigger price here. So the idea here is for the PowerX strategy, it is a trend following strategy, and for a trend following strategy, we want to see momentum. And one of the oldest tricks in the book to identify a trend, this is what I learned way back in the 90s. In the 90s, I learned that you identify a trend if you constantly make higher highs, as we see here, right? So a higher high, a higher high, a higher high, a higher high, right? I mean, this is how a trend is defined when bars look like this. Or yeah, when if you're losing a line chart, if the line chart looks like this, you get the idea. So this is why if we consider buying, right, we want to see that we are making a new high. And so the high of yesterday's bar, if you look at this one here, oops, right here, then we see that the high was at 103.70. So this morning, we only want to buy it if we are making a new high. Because again, we want to see the momentum, and this is where sometimes there's confusion. What about this trigger price? Is this the maximum price that I should buy this stock at? And we say, no, this is the price that the stock has to go through to make sure that we have momentum. So we basically have two components here to the PowerX strategy. Number one is the indicators that we like to use. And, we have videos here on YouTube. We are using three indicators, stochastics, RSI, and MACD. And then number two, we want to see that we are making a higher high than yesterday. So this is what this trigger price means. And this is why I placed the order here. And right now, obviously, it is not yet getting filled. All right, good. So we can probably jump over to the wheel unless are there a few questions
There was a
we should
question
address?
about which option I was looking at. With PowerX on CELH, the 90 strike or the 105 strike was suggested for quick trades, and I'm looking at the 105. The bid-ask spread is pretty wide here. I pulled it up and it dropped a little bit. It was 20, 30 cents spread live. Now it's about 90 cents. So I'm leaning more towards trading the stock on this one, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. I could make a decision. It hasn't triggered yet. So either way, I'm not trading the option unless the signal triggers. The only reason I'm trading the option with PowerX is if we have a signal that triggers and I'm using the option as an alternative to just buying shares of the stock.
Right. Okay. There's also a question what exits we're using for CLH. And you see right now, let's worry about the entry because here's the deal. If you're not getting filled today, you never have to worry about the exits, right? So don't run yourself crazy by trying to overanalyze stuff. I mean, we can take a look at the exits here in a moment. I just want to switch to the wheel and see if we have some opportunities there. And then we can talk about the exits because it seems that we have plenty of time. The markets have been rather muted. Let's see where they open and if we do have a few options that are popping up here. And I'm switching over right now to the wheel analyzer. So we are leaving the PowerX analyzer. We're going over to the wheel. And as you can see, in terms of filters, right now, I am not applying any filters. Now, we talked about this on Monday and Tuesday. We like to trade this week's expiration. We don't like to go out for another week. Now on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we like to look at this week's expiration and next week's expiration. So therefore, I'll make sure that all of my filters are reset because otherwise I might miss some opportunities. And we have the first stocks popping up here. So you see that there's a few that I've already flagged previously. So if you look at the flag here, oops, probably need to refresh the results here. There we go. Okay. So there's quite a few that I already flagged Monday or Tuesday, yesterday or the day before, as no or never. And so, Mark, let's go through these. What do you think?
Sounds good.
ASHR. Now, when it comes to the wheel, there's two criteria. Number one, before you trade it, do you want to own this stock? Are you happy if this stock in the portfolio? Are you happy if you're getting assigned on Friday? So let's say that you're selling puts for Friday, and come Friday afternoon, and you say, I get assigned. That is perfect. If you're sitting there on Friday and say, I hope that I don't get assigned, you pick the wrong stock. So make sure that on Friday, if we are trading below our strike price, that you say, yes, I love having this stock. So this is the one thing. And the second thing is, do you want to own it at the suggested strike prices that we see here, right? So these are the two criteria. Now, if you look at ASHR, this is some Chinese ETFs and X-Tracker Harvest. And we see this looks like, I don't know, a cricket uh, dipped his feet in ink and was jumping a little bit all over the chart. So for me, this would be a very clear no. It's actually a never. I don't never want to trade this. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree, Marcus. Right now, staying away from Chinese stocks. I think there's just too much uncertainty. You know, when we look at stocks that we're trading with the wheel, I want to trade something that I believe is moving sideways slightly higher, that doesn't have the potential to drop 20, 30, 40% just with some crazy news. And I think that that's a real good reason to stay away from Chinese stocks right
Right.
now.
Okay.
BP looking
Ah,
nice, but just running away.
right. So BP, is this a stock that I want to own? Yes. Do I want to own it at 28.50? No. And this is where we have the blue dotted line. The blue dotted line is showing us the lowest closing price of the last 8 weeks. And it's a crutch, it's a guideline so that you get a better idea of where is potential support. And we see, nah, there's support. Yeah, I would be happier to sell puts here at the probably 24 level, somewhere around
Sure.
there. This is where I see some support. So therefore, unfortunately, this is a no. So when we're looking at 2x shares, leveraged shares, I never like to trade leveraged ETFs. So this for me is a never. This year is the same. So we're looking at, let me make this a little bit bigger. We're looking at 3x shares. This is here a never for me. Okay, so moving on. Do you see anything on the list that we should take a look at right away, or shall we just go down the list, Mark?
Marcus, do you still have Texas Instruments TXN?
No.
No, it looks like it popped off. Okay.
Okay, if you see something that we should take a look at, we'll do it right away. Otherwise, we are going through this list here. And this is where it's interesting. Often we are deselecting stocks, right? And this is where, it's called stock picking, not stock collecting. So there's a reason why it's called stock picking. You really want to be picky. So Bath and Body Works, is this a company that we would like to own and have in our portfolio? Yes, absolutely. I would say yes. At the strike price of 67.50, no, because we see there's more support probably around the 62 to 63 level. And I don't want to buy into this too high because if the stock drops, you're getting assigned at the strike price. So here, for me, this would be a no. There's a DoorDash popping up. DoorDash, I don't know. Did they report earnings? They're dropping dramatically today. I mean, yesterday they were trading at 212. This morning at 200. I mean, that's a pretty substantial drop.
It is. I wonder.
Yeah, we can flag this as a maybe and take another look at it here in a moment. So let's talk about FCX. Ah, I like FCX. I like it as a company, and I do not like it at a strike price of 35, right? Because this would be here. And you see, I would like it better at a strike price of 32-ish. Wouldn't you agree, Mark?
Agreed.
Yeah, so this here, where we say no. Hood. Is this really a company that you want to own? I don't. I think they're in trouble. I mean, they just reported that their cryptocurrency trading, which has been huge, that this is actually crumbling, right? And so they seem to struggle in terms of active users. The active users went down from 21 million to 19 million or something like this. That's a 10% decrease. So here, that is not for me. And it's up to you. If you like it, then if you want to be an owner at 30, sure, feel free. For me, that would be a no. Let's see, MT. MT, I would have to look in the stock to the stock. I don't know what ArcelorMittal NY registry shares do. It says basic material and steel, so it's probably very similar to Freeport. The challenge is that right now the strike price that is suggested is 32, which for me is way too high. I love the strike price here of 29. So this is why we have the blue line. I mean, the blue line for me super helpful. It's the lowest close indicator that we have programmed into this, and yeah, this is where MT for me would be a no. Mark, if you see anything, just interrupt me at any time.
Sure.
OIH, love OIH. We have traded OIH a few
Yes.
times, right? We have. Love the stock, don't like the strike price of 210 right now, so therefore it is a no. Range Resources Corporation. Oh my gosh. Same as BP, energy, oil, and gas, running away together with the oil prices. So, probably a good company to own. So, number one criteria, yes. Number two, at the strike price of 23, way up here. No, thank you. Not for me. Not for me. So, this would be a no. Signet Jewelers. I mean, kind of like them, and I don't like them at the strike price.
Yeah.
So, easy no. Sony, that's interesting. Okay. Sony is popping up here, and Sony is popping up at a strike price of 106, between 106 and 110. So in this zone, this for me is a little bit too high. So I need to look into Sony. I haven't looked into Sony in a while. If there's a stock that I want to own, but not at this strike price. So therefore, this would be a no. SPCE for me, no, crazy stock. Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, where he sold most of the shares, and I mean this is where this stock is just crazy all over the place. Like, yeah, we're flying to the moon, and no, a little bit later, yeah, we flew to the moon or just into outer orbit, and then yeah, we are postponing everything until late 2022. So this is just too much of a wild card here. So SPCE for me is a no. Tata Motors, the guys behind Jaguar and Range Rover, like the stock, not at the strike price. I mean, this. Do you know why this ran away, Mark? It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
That
I
was
mean,
just
they were
huge.
trading in a nice range between 20 and 24. And this is where we see right now. If the strike price of 20 would be suggested, I would be all over this. I would be happy and buy it because this is the range. But right now, at a strike price of 31.50, no thank you. And you see, this is the number one mistake that Mark and I see. Traders are getting in trouble because either they are trading stocks that they don't want to own, or they're getting it at a strike price that is way too high. I mean, what was the other day? Somebody asked us about. Oops, what did I do here? So I clicked a button. They asked us about pins. So let's do this. Let's go back here and let's talk about pins. And so this trader was stuck in pins from 61, I believe, or 71, something like this. So it was a strike price that I thought, even at the time, and I can't remember, I think it was at 71.
Marcus, are you trying to show your
Oh, yeah,
screen?
sorry. There we go. Yeah, strike price of 71. And I think this was way too aggressive. I mean, a much better strike price would have been probably around 60 for pretty much all of this year. There was never a time that I see on the chart where 71 would have made sense. So, okay. Anyhow, now before we continue, we have a few more stocks to go through here. Is this helpful for you at all as we are going through these stocks? And even though right now we're just saying no, 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 I think, or I believe, that when trading the wheel, it is super important to say no, because then automatically the best are popping up. And if this is helpful, just click on like. That's the easiest way for us to see what is helpful here. So if this helps, click on like and we'll just keep doing it here. NCLH, Norwegian Cruise Lines. I don't like cruise lines. I just think that they still have a rough time. So I don't, right now, I wouldn't go on a cruise and I don't know who would. So this for me is a no. QS, Quantum Scope, that is a crazy stock. Definitely a crazy stock. So therefore, for me, this is a no. We just talked about Tata Motors. So this is not at the strike price. Twitter. I don't know, Mark. I'm staying away a little bit from social media right now.
I think that makes sense, Marcus, just to see how this shakes out. But also with Twitter, maybe there's some support a little bit lower around 52.
Yeah.
Not 52, but we're testing this recent level, so I'd be a little cautious.
Yeah. You see, social media, Facebook is in trouble right now. I mean, the Facebook papers are being released and they have a lot of criticism right now. So, this is where it could be that social media are getting more regulated. Now, this would then also include Twitter, it would include Snapchat, it would include TikTok, which is what is ByteDance? You know the symbol for TikTok? I'm
Oh,
just putting TikTok there. It's not the symbol. It's ByteDance. It's the company. So this is
yeah.
where, yeah, if Facebook gets slapped, Twitter is being dragged into this automatically. We also saw that Facebook and Snap said, "Oh my God, this new Apple update, this is really, really bad for us." And then on the other hand, we had Twitter and Google saying, "Man, you know what? We don't have a problem with this. Our ad revenue is better than ever." So. All right. Anyhow, good. So let's see what else we got there. So this is why Twitter for me, I wouldn't do that. Cool. Let's see others. AA Alcoa, like AA,
Yeah.
definitely interesting, great company, but not at the strike price of 44. This would be a little bit too aggressive for me. What do you think?
Yeah, it's also going out to next Friday, and I think it's still like if something just looks awesome for next Friday, there's some nice premium, solid support. I'd be okay now that it's Wednesday, but not this one. Hey, Marcus, there was a question from Donna both yesterday and today.
Uh huh.
We had a wheel strategy checklist, and we were saying originally that we want to collect 25 cents premium, just because it made sense to have enough premium to put on a trade. But now that we're using the scanner and we have that programmed in, we also have the calculator. The scanner and the calculator are far more important. So
Yeah.
that was before we had the tools that we're now using.
Yeah.
And then
UCO.
there was a general question about the wheel, and there
Yep.
was a question on are we buying puts or selling puts? And the first step to the wheel is selling puts. We're collecting premium as an option seller, specifically a put seller. We collect premium and we have an obligation to buy shares from the put buyer. So that's why we want to make sure that we have an obligation to buy shares on a stock that we want to own, and we want to buy shares at a nice little discount, but at a strike price that makes sense. That's why a lot of this is deselection because yes, on the premium side, the scanner does a good job of giving us stocks to consider, but we still need to do the due diligence, make sure that it is something we want to own and that strike is a price that we want to own the stock at. And days like this, a lot of it is filtering out the nose. It was interesting, Marcus. We started to turn negative a little bit for the day, and I was getting excited, thinking, okay, this is because when we have a down day, the wheel it just gets super exciting, and that's when it might be that there's 3 slow days, and then all of a sudden you get that day where you just clean up. But things have turned positive again.
Yeah.
S&P's positive.
So URA, global uranium, yes, but not at the strike price. And then we have XOP, and these are the last two. So this also, yes, hell yes, but not at the strike price. So therefore, it's a no here for me right now. Yeah, we can. You see, this is where it's really interesting. In the beginning of my trading career, I always thought, oh my gosh, I need to place trades. I need to place trades. I need to trade every day. In fact, in the very beginning of my trading career, I was day trading. And this is where a broker told me that you need to place at least 100 trades per day if you want to be successful in day trading. Obviously, that's complete and utterly wrong, right? But this is what got stuck in my brain. That I said, oh my gosh, I have to force trades. I have to basically place trades every single day, and that's not true. I mean, we just have to pick the best trades. Again, it's called stock picking, right? And then just let the trades pan out. So, as an example, right now, yes, no wheel trades, but if you look at the PowerX trades that we did, I mean, they are moving nicely. OPCH, as you can see, up $60 right now. LAC up $428. FTAI up $327, and that's on a rather small $20,000 account. So that's not bad at all. Well, let's take a look at our existing trades here in a moment, see how they're doing and what we can do there. But I'm not too concerned if there's nothing to trade today. I mean, we placed this week placed the OPCH trade, right? And we closed the NVIDIA trade. So this worked out great. Let me see, how much was the NVIDIA trade overall if you look at this? So for NVIDIA, so we closed the FNGU trade for 400. We closed this last week. And then NVIDIA, we closed on October 25th, which was earlier this week, for 388. And then we have this one here that we closed yesterday at 974. So it's working out if you're being picky. If you're impatient, this is when usually the markets start punishing you.
Hey, Marcus, I hate to interrupt, but I have something for you.
Yeah.
Teresa, our mastermind friend, made an observation. Take a look at DFS, Discover Financial.
Yep.
So she said that it popped up on aggressive, but she was looking at it, running the numbers, and the 115 for this Friday gives you 35%.
Oh, we've traded DFS in the past.
We have.
I like this one. So that's interesting. So DFS, let's take a look at this. So DFS, it's coming up on the scanner with 116. So let's just
But
add
we
this.
could do 115. We could do 115 and get do 33 cents and get 35%.
Right. So okay, we're going to the 115 for next week or for this week?
For this week.
For this week. Okay.
It looks like some people have put in orders for it because it's now 20 by 30.
Okay. So let's switch over here to the account. Let's take a look at DFS. Oops, too many keyboards here. So DFS. Okay, hold on. Let me just switch over. There we go. Oh, Mark, I lost you for a moment. Sorry, you'll be right back.
It's okay.
I just noticed that I haven't set up our two settings for sharing the account here. So October 29th, we're looking at the 115. And what were you looking at? Trying to get 30 cents?
Originally it was 33 or 35, but now it looks like you need to try 30.
Okay, let's see if we can do this. So to the theoretical price. Let's switch back here and quickly see how many options I should trade based on what we see here. So it should be nine options. Okay, so this will be a buying power of 103,000. Okay, that should be good. So let's do this. So let's jump over here again, place this order. So we set 115, want to sell a total of, just move this out of the way, 9. And we said we want to go for a minimum premium of 30 cents. So when we do this as a limit order, let's review and send. This would be $270 that are being deposited into our account for a 2-day trade here. So not bad at all. So let's place it and let's see if we are getting filled here. So we're sending the order and it is a working order right now. It is in the market and we are not yet filled. Okay. So I'm leaving this in here. I'm getting rid of COF. We don't need this. But DFS looks pretty good. Okay. I like it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Cool.
Trees, a good trade. Hey, there was a comment about CELH. One, someone got filled right away, and we remember we are looking for the trigger price to be hit. So there was a question: if it's trading lower, why not just get into CELH? And the thing is if it's trading lower and staying in that range, it could continue to stay in that range. So our signals are based on the stock actually breaking through that recent high. And that to us is confirmation that yes, we have some momentum to the upside. Yes, it could take off from here. So
Yeah.
that's why we don't want to get into the trade if it hasn't triggered.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So don't do that. We talked about it a little bit earlier, where we said, okay, we want to make sure that we see momentum. All right. Let's see. There are a few other questions. For example, what about FTAI? So if we are in a trade like FTAI, what do we do if earnings are coming up? So we'll see what happens today here. I mean, right now, we're still trading well above our entry price. Earnings are tomorrow after the bell. So, I mean, we can
This
reevaluate this tomorrow, Mark. It's not today. It's not tomorrow before the bell. It's tomorrow after the bell. So we can see what happens here today.
sounds
All right.
good.
So, question is about these black bars. Well, the black bars basically indicate that now the indicators are no longer in alignment. So you see, when we see green bars, it means that all three indicators, RSI, stochastics, and MACD, are pointing to it is more likely to go higher. If we are having red bars, it means that all three indicators are telling us it's more likely to go lower. When we have a black bar, it means that the indicators are undecided. Two say higher, one says lower, or one says higher and two say lower. And this is why we say here, nah, this is usually indicating a change of direction. So this is what the black bar means. Good. What else do we have? So if the open fill price is different, higher than PowerX, how do I set exit prices? Well, really depends on you. You can adjust it. Usually, what I personally like to do, or what we like to do, Mark, we don't like to jump in if it is more than 2% above our entry price. So we don't want to go crazy there. And usually, if it is just slightly higher, if it is by a few cents, I personally don't adjust for it. So if you're talking about, if you want to make $4 on the stock and we got filled with 5 cents higher, I wouldn't worry about it. So really only if it is significant, and then what you do is with your exit prices, you also adjust them by 5% if you choose to do this. All right. Good. What else do we have? So how low does a stock have to fall by Friday before you don't want to get assigned? Well, this is where it goes back to pick stocks where you do want to get assigned, right? And but we also see here that, for example, with BNTX, which is biotech, so I would stay away from this. But you see here, we see the drop in percent. It is this line, right? So BNTX could drop another 11, 10, or 9% before we get assigned. So this is showing us here. And I do believe, do we have it already as a filter? No, but we're planning to have this as a filter that you say, okay, I only want to have stocks that can drop at least another 5%. Yeah, but I don't like to trade these bio stocks and also CRISPR therapeutics. I mean, this is all over the place. CRISPR, like holy cannoli. No, thank you. That's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's lost half of its value in 2 months. I don't want to be in it and have it lose another half of
Yeah.
its value.
So Dirk is asking, do you ever sell put spread of naked puts? No, we don't trade put spreads. We are just, and you see, they're not really naked. They're cash covered, right? So keep in mind, please do not say naked puts. Don't sell naked puts. Don't sell naked calls. Either sell covered calls or cash secured puts. Okay, so make sure. All right. What else? So we have our order in the market for DFS and not yet filled on this one. We'll see. Okay, let's take a look at the trades that we are in. So JWN, so we got assigned at 30. These are the trades. Let's actually quickly bring over the account here. There's not much to do. So you see we have the working order here. DFS is the working order. We have JWN. So right now we sold the uh, the 30 call, and we might actually be able to buy it back or roll tomorrow. Then LVS, we're still in this trade, so this is where we only have the shares, and then ride, you know, ride. So we are in there, and I mean, ride. If you're looking at the chart here, we know we already talked about it a few days ago. Nothing will happen here before November 10th when they are reporting earnings. And until then, it'll trade right around $5, a little bit above, a little bit below. And this is what it has been doing here over the past few days. If we are looking at it, we see exactly trading around $5. And I don't expect much here. So these are the other three trades that we are in. JWN, let's see what happens with this one. If it closes above 30 on Friday, we're getting called away. So we will still keep the premium, but then we lose the shares, which is okay because we don't make any money or lose any money on the shares. But we can keep all of the premium here. LVS, we need to see that this actually here, there's a few profit targets. First of all, we need to see that we are filling the gap here so that we are going back up to 42. And then we need to see that we are going above 45.50, that we are actually taking out the previously established highs before we can consider selling calls. So until then, not much to do with it. But yeah, JWN has been fun, right, Mark?
Yeah, yeah, we'll see what happens. I wouldn't mind buying it back at 90% today if it's possible, or tomorrow. But hopefully we'll be able to sell calls again at 30 and just keep lowering our break even. Hey, Marcus, there
Um,
was a question from Ina. Can you add your own trade idea into the scanner? And the scanner is doing the work to find opportunities for you, but you could enter your trade idea into the calculator. So if you have an idea, a stock, and an option that you're looking to sell, you can plug it into the calculator. And that's what I did with DFS and what Marcus did. So you could enter your idea into the calculator, but the scanner is searching for symbols.
yeah, not yet. We are planning a watch list. Yeah, that you can put your own stocks in there that it can scan for. But that's probably in version 2.8. We have a few other releases coming up here over the next few weeks with some exciting enhancements here. All right. What other questions do we have?
SJ Singh, he said that he's been trying to find videos to learn options. He understands the wheel in PowerX, but would love some help understanding options trading. Marcus, you did a whole options 101 that's
Yeah, we did an
available.
options 101. We'll drop the link in the description for you, also in the chat here. So I did an options 101. Well, it will take you an hour to go through it. This probably helps. So Derek is asking what determines if it is conservative or aggressive. So on the conservative scanner, the strike prices are a little bit further away. Let's use AA as an example here. So AA Alcoa, as you can see, the strike price on the conservative scanner is 44. On the aggressive scanner, you will see that for AA, it is 45. You see, it's closer. It's a little bit more aggressive. This is more for, for stocks where you want to get a sign that you want to trade more aggressively. So that's the main difference. The strike prices are different. And this is why some trades are not popping up here. So Mark, what do you think about Alcoa here? Alcoa at 44.
This one was actually close for me, I'm gonna wait.
So here's
Uh,
the deal. You want to be able to clearly identify support, right? And here it's a little bit tricky because the true support, I want to say, is down here, 32.50. And
yeah, that
yes, there is some more short-term support here at 45, but you see, this is where I mean, with everything that is going on here, they're basic materials and aluminum. So with all the supply chain issues, with price hikes, with everything getting more expensive, they might actually fall back into this range. If you see it here, it's basically a range between 32 and 45, somewhere around there. And I kind of think that they have a possibility to fall back into this range. I mean, it's not the worst, but keep in mind that in order to do this, you would have to go out to November 5th, which is until next week. So just keep this in mind. For me, I agree with you, Mark. Let's wait and see. I mean, today they have a very, very healthy drop here today. I mean, they're down what, 3.3%.
yeah. There are a few other questions that I noted, Marcus. Cirque du Chalet says, are margin requirements a consideration, or do you look at the trades in a cash value? And so this is where in the buying power and the positions that you enter in the wheel settings, you can specify the buying power that you want your trades to be based on. So if you don't want to use margin, you could just put your cash value. If you want to use margin, you can use the margin. So whatever you enter here, the software is going to suggest the number of options to trade based on the buying power you enter and the positions.
Yeah.
And then Junior says, could be helpful to strip the 2x, 3x ETFs out of the trading universe so they're not even suggested on the scanner. The crazy thing is we were going to do that. We were like, let's do it. And we mentioned it once and people went crazy. So,
Yeah. I mean, some people love trading it. And you see, if you like to play with fire, we let you play with fire. We warn you and say, don't do it. Um, I remember I'm the oldest brother. I have two brothers. One of them, Michael, is 1.5 years younger. And when we were really the little kids running around the Christmas tree with the drum, like 3 years old or something like this, our mom keeps telling us, okay, be careful of the stove. Yeah. On top of the stove, it is hot. Don't touch it. It is hot. Don't touch it. And what does my brother do? He touches it. Well, he got burned. He learned his lesson. And so it's almost here. We tell you, don't do it. Don't do it. If you choose to do it, maybe you get lucky the first time that nothing happens, that the plate on the stove is cold, or you get burned and you'll never do it again. Anyhow, good. Back to this one here. So AA for now is a no. So not a whole lot going on. Let's see what CELH is doing, and then we can take a look at a few more questions. So CELH. Yeah, we were a little bit all over the place here with CLH. So trading higher, trading lower, a little bit, and we'll see. We'll see if we're getting filled here. I think the other positions that we have, let's go back there. Yeah, all of this looking good. I mean, OPCH, was up like what, $60 earlier. It's now back to a green zero. And yeah, it's all good. It's all good. See, Bruno says Nvidia is tanking. Well, we sold everything yesterday. We hit our profit targets. We're out of Nvidia.
Yep.
So this worked really, really, really well. All right, let's see, Mark. What other questions do we have?
Hey Marcus, let's look at this was one that caught my attention earlier, then it got away. It's not on the conservative. It did pop up on aggressive, and people have asked about it. Look at TXN, Texas Instruments.
Okay, yeah, I know that you mentioned it. Let's actually zoom out a little bit. Oh, whoa, big, big earnings miss, huh?
Yeah, so here we have a stock that is taking a beating today. It is trading at these support levels. Um, yeah, this one it caught my eye just
I
because
know.
of
I
where
mean,
it's
so
trading.
yesterday we were trading at what, around 197. Now
Hmm.
we are trading at 164. So we have a drop of 6.5% because they missed earnings. And I know that you're probably looking at this support here. Um, I would be careful. We also see that there's some more support here and some more support here. I agree that the 184 or whatever you're looking at there is probably making sense.
Yeah, 180 is the strike for Friday.
180. Okay.
And I want to say that I even saw the 175 pop up briefly at the very beginning when I was mentioning it, but then that was gone quick.
So we have it on the aggressive scanner. We have it on
Yeah,
the aggressive with 180. That's for Friday. That's pretty good.
it's tempting, huh?
That is tempting.
It's aggressive, so let's not sugarcoat it. It is a more aggressive trade. Now you can look at the financials and see how it's doing quarterly,
Yeah,
Marcus.
let's take a look at the financials here. And let's first take a look at the annual financials. So solid, right? I mean, a little bit decreasing in 2019 and 2020, but the profits are not, I mean, they just seem to be super, super solid. Quarterly, it's going higher. Okay, so definitely solid company. What happened here with the,
So
they
earnings were
recorded
in
a revenue
line.
increase.
Yeah, earnings were in line, but they said that demand for electric components is beginning to slow. So I think that's the catalyst for the drop.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, this one's tempting.
So the idea here, I'll take a look at the 180 or see if we can get the 185, 175.
I mean, that's a good point. We could pull it up on the calculator and see.
Yeah, could just pull it up here. So right now the price is 184.50. So let's see. Let's bring up. Oops, too many keyboards. This keyboard is here. So let's bring up an options chain. Let's take a look at this and see what we can get. So I'm switching over here. I need to bring it back in here, Mark. So at the 180, holy cannoli, we can get probably 65 right now.
Yeah, you need 44 cents minimum. So the 177.50 is out of reach, but the 180 has some decent premium.
So we could get the 65. Okay. Hmm. It's 44% for a 2-day trade. Let's take a look at this at the chart again. So the 180 would be down here. And the reason why there's so much premium in there is because it's a pretty big jump. So we have right now
Yep.
probably a spike in premium. Now, the one thing that I see here, Mark, that is concerning me just a little bit is that the implied volatility right now jumped high to 41%.
Yeah,
But then if we want to sell calls, that might be a little bit tricky.
agreed.
Sell calls. There's not a lot of premium in there. We would like to see the implied volatility here between 40 and 60%. And this is where, see, here we're starting to anticipate a little bit. What would happen if we get assigned? Then we want to sell calls, right? And for calls, we want to receive great premium. And usually, good premium is between 40 and 60% of implied volatility. Here, we currently have the 40% because of this huge earnings miss and the huge drop. And then over the next, all of the other expirations here, we are only looking at 25%. So that's where say, well, if you get assigned, well, we could probably sell the 185. Let me just see how much premium we would get there right now. So yeah, you see, that's not bad. If we go to see, the problem is if right now it's trading at 184. So if we drop below the 180 strike price, let's say we drop like $2 or $3 below, we would have to sell at the strike price. So we only get like a 80 cents to a dollar. It's not a whole lot. What do you think?
Yeah,
Going back and
I'm
forth.
on the fence. Yeah, someone mentioned ex dividend on Friday,
Yep.
so
Yes.
I'm gonna pass on this one. I know that it's been with the markets raging higher the last 2 weeks or a week and a half. Things have been slow with the wheel side, but I still think sitting on my hands, we're gonna get a good down day and have plenty of
Yeah, I mean,
opportunities.
exactly. Let's talk about it. So right now, the markets are not doing anything. So the S&P flat for the day, the Dow flat for the day, the Nasdaq slightly up. And if you just look at, okay, let me just hide the PowerX so that we see the normal bars, and we look at what happened here with the Dow over the past few days. We see that the Dow had 9 updates in a row. Yesterday closed slightly lower, but basically nothing. So for the S&P also, just a phenomenal run. If you look at this, so here we have 8 updates, and then we have this one day here, which is pretty much almost like a doji, right? So also for 2 weeks just up in a row, that's not good for premium, because this is where we can take a look at the VIX, which is the volatility index, and the volatility index tells us how much premium is usually in options. And you see when the VIX is high, I'm going to zoom out here a little bit. So often you will find really, really great opportunities according to the wheel when the VIX is somewhere at around 20, wouldn't you say, Mark? Around 18 to 20 or above. And right now
Yeah,
we're only between 15, right here we have been between 15 and 17. So super, super low volatility because the markets are, yeah, are lulling us in here. And this is where you see often what happens when the markets do this and they start lulling you in. See, whenever it happened in the past, and suddenly, boom, you have a spike, and then boom, you have a spike. I mean, we can just look at a weekly chart here to get a little bit better view here. You see that every few weeks, if you zoom in here a little bit, see every few weeks after being low for a couple of weeks, boom, we're getting a spike. Being low, boom, we're getting a spike. Being low, I mean, we're almost overdue for a spike here. Do you see that?
yeah,
So, and this is where when you have this spike, usually a spike in the VIX means that overall the markets are dropping. And that's what we are waiting for right now. So this is where be patient. I mean, you don't need to force trades. And trust me, I mean, especially right now. I think there's like 800, 900 people watching us, maybe 1,000. I don't even know. So, of course, what would be the good thing to do? Throw a trades left and right, and you know that there's other people on YouTube who are doing
Exciting.
exactly this. I mean, they're just right now trading there, and opening position and closing a position. And you see here, Mark and I are showing you what we do every day. So that's exactly what we do. And there are some days when there's nothing to trade. Now, we have been together for a little bit over an hour, which is longer than I would usually do because honestly, if in the first 30 minutes of trading, there's nothing going on, I mean, you'll just sit there the whole day and here's what happens. The longer you sit in front of the computer, staring at the markets this way, right? The more you feel the urge to trade, the more you feel, oh my gosh, now I've already sat here for an hour. I really should start trading something. And that's the worst thing that you can do. When there's nothing to trade, don't trade. And this is why, for us, we just like to watch the markets in the first 30 minutes. So we start at my time 8:15, which is 15 minutes before the markets open, and then I usually go until 9 o'clock. So it's a 45-minute work day when it comes to trading. So there we go.
Yep. We're fishing, and sometimes no one's biting.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Hey,
okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to address because a bunch of comments came up about FTAI.
Oh yeah.
We mentioned it this week, but just to clarify, Marcus and I do have a different plan when it comes to earnings. So, and I encourage you to have your own plan, right? Even if you're using the software to find opportunities where you're using entry and exit rules based on, the software, whether it be the wheel or PowerX, and based on, principles and ideas that Marcus and I have introduced and that we trade, have your own plan. And this is where, for me, I choose not to hold PowerX trades through earnings just because I prefer to be out, let the stock do what it's going to do. And that is definitely more conservative. So, FTAI for me, I'm going to close it probably tomorrow morning. We'll see if we get a little pop today. Might close it today, but typically I'm closing the day before earnings, or if it's reporting after the bell, the morning of the day they are reporting. Marcus, on the other hand, I'll let you explain your plan.
Yeah. So what I would like to see is what happened over the past 2 years. Did they react to earnings? And if we look at all the earnings here, we see that there was never a strong reaction to earnings. So FTAI seems to basically not surprise investors. And if over the past 2 years there wasn't a strong reaction to earnings, I mean, for me, the probabilities that tomorrow we have a strong reactions are rather low. So this is where we'll see what happens. I'm okay holding this through earnings. I would be more concerned if this would have reacted to earnings every single time. So yeah, that's my plan. We'll see. Okay, now we will be back here with you tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, as you know, you're peeking again over our shoulder as we are trading live with the mastermind. So, tomorrow, slightly different format. We will not be able to look at your comments and questions because we are dual broadcasting our Zoom meeting that we have with our mastermind members. Excuse me. So, but it is a fourth day. So, if you're enjoying this, give us a like. We appreciate the likes. If you would like to have the PowerX Optimizer for $1 for the next 10 days, take advantage of this. We are shutting this down, the 10-day trial, tonight. So, today is the last day where you can take advantage of this, just because we want to make sure that, yeah, we can actually help you if you have questions. And quite a few of you have taken advantage of the exam, of the trial offer here. And so you're experiencing the software now for the next 10 days. And if it helps you in your trading, great. Consider investing in it. If it doesn't help you and if you say, I keep doing what I do, that's fine too. No worries here. All right. Now, with that said, we will see you tomorrow.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes. Take care.